Hello everyone, welcome once again to another Power BI tutorial by Team Slidescope. In this part, we are learning about creating the third dashboard in our series of USA insurance data analysis. And in this part, we are covering risk profile and cost drivers. So, high cost density, top 10% flag and smokers, average cost incurred by different risk groups like true obese are paying high, BMI versus insurance charges compared with smoking habits. So you can see people with smoking habits too are paying high charges and average charges by BMI category. Important thing is how will we create the BMI category using the switch function, then how will we calculate the high cost density, and in order to calculate this high cost density, the calculated column that we will use risk group and not this one, actually this one, like where we will use the percentile x dot inc function. Everything that you are seeing here will be answered, and I will provide all these you know questions and their answers and the DAX queries in the description of this video. So let's solve these part 3 questions, these 5 questions, and this is part 3 of this project. So let's get started. To start the third part, we have simply copied or created a duplicate copy of insurance cost analysis, and in third part we have to do risk profile and cost drivers analysis. Obviously, if you haven't watched part 1 and 2, I will ask you to go and watch them, so this project will be more uh, easier for you to understand. So here we will focus on identifying high risk profile and factors giving up cost. Now we can simply rename it. So this is risk profile and cost drivers, and we will just mention it here, risk profile and cost drivers. And this is the third part. So in first part we created image, we use these different slices and these type of simple KPIs to answer the questions. Now in this part we will start with analyzing the questions. So first question says, which combination, example smoker plus high BMI, like this is a combination, lead to highest charges? So they want to understand like what type of combination is causing highest charges. So to answer this question, first we will create the BMI category. So if you see here, the BMI that is given here, it is given as a single value, like it's given as a numerical value, but we studied in the first part that based on different type of BMI values, we can actually categorize the patients. So we will create a new column, and in new column we will call it BMI category, where we will use the switch function. In switch function you write your expression, which we write as true, meaning that whenever these conditions will be true, whenever BMI will be less than 18.5, so this condition will be true, and hence it will write underweight in that column. Similarly, in 25 normal, 30 overweight, and so on. So once you will run this, you will see now people will be categorized in different BMI categories. As a result of that, let's say we have to answer charges by BMI category. If we have to do that, so we simply we will use a stack column chart or a bar chart. You can use any of your favorite chart to answer the question, where you can put one category and one number, and here we will put BMI category. So you can see for obese people, average charges are more as compared to people who are underweight. So this is how it depends upon BMI category that we have created. But the question is not asking just BMI category, it is asking combination. So we have to use another column here, that is smoker. So we can create another column here, composite column with these two values. So that column will be risk group. we will select a smoker and BMI category. So for example, here with smoker falls, normal falls, overweight, these type of categories will be created. So once you will do that, you can see these type of categories now are created. So this is average charge by BMI category. Let's keep it there, and I will simply use this chart, funnel chart, and here in category I will use the risk group, and you can see instead of total charge we will use average charge to understand. And you can see in case of true obese, average charges are highest, okay, and it is lowest in case of false underweight. So this is how you can actually answer this question. If you want, you can go and select a different color for your visual from here like this, or we can go to FX, and we are going with gradient. In gradient we will go insurance, and here we will select the average charge. If average charge is less, we are going to use this color. If it is more, let's use this color. So from less to high it will be, you know, created with a gradient like this. So whatever values are falling in low range are this, and falling in high range are here. And actually because high range values are somewhat in a negative sense, like obviously for these patients, so we can use a green, so green red divergent kind of graph, so you will be able to see that. So this is total insurance cost, and this is not actually total, so we have to change the data label, change the title, and this is average cost by risk group, and we know that that risk group is smoker and between smoker and BMI category. The similar way you can create one with age and smoker, you can create one with age and children, and try to answer different questions like this. Now, and we know that what lead to highest charges, that is smoking is true, and obese is, like, people are falling in the obese category of BMI. Next question says, what are the top 10% costliest patients and what trait do they share? So to answer this question, I will create a simple measure here to calculate the 90th percentile of charges. So charge 90th percentile will be percentile x dot inc. This function, what this function does, it returns the kth inclusive percentile of an expression value in the table. So you take table, you take expression. Table will be all insurance. Why we are selecting all? Because this all basically returns all the rows in a table or the values in a column, ignoring any filters. So wherever we will use, it will ignore any context or filters if it is applied to it. And then finally we will select charges as our value, like obviously as our expression we are counting charges, and this will return the 90th percentile of charge. So first you have to do that, because as per question you have to answer what are top 10% costliest patients. So that's why we are going with 90th percentile. Then for the top 10% flag we will create another measure, and this will be top 10 flag, where we are going with, first we are creating top threshold. So in the percentile we are using this 90th percentile thing, or you can use what we have created, and return if insurance, so we have to use the charge. So, and actually this will be not whether it will measure, it will be a column, because we have to give flag to everything. Yeah, now it's okay. So here we are going with where top threshold we are using percentile x. So this is something which will give us the 90th percentile of charges, and if charges are greater than equal to this top threshold, we will call them top 10%. otherwise we will call them others. So basically that's how we can find, right? So with the help of the kth inclusive percentile of an expression value in the table, we'll be able to find that, and this will give us a value. And if charges are above these 90th percentile value, then those people will be the top 10% and others will be others. So once you will do that, you will be able to see that where are those people. So if we just select for others, let's see the average charges. So you can see 3866. Now let's select top 10% only. You can see how high these charges are. So these people lie within top 10% of values. So once you will do that, what are the top 10% costliest patients? So now actually once you are applying this filter, you are actually finding out who are these top 10% patients and what are their traits. So if you do that, you will be able to analyze like how much charge, what region, what smoker, their average BMI, everything will be given here. So now because different tax calculations and everything is needed. So for question number 3.2, first we have used charge 90th percentile. So that we calculated, which gave us the threshold value above which patient are in top 10% by cost. Then create a calculated column to flag top 10% patients. So first we use that here, or we could have used charge 90th percentile there and return. So this column gave us who are those top 10%, who are the others, and then we can create a comparison visual. So we can create a stacked column chart. So in axis we can use the top 10% flag. In legend we can use smoker, gender and region, and in values we can put count of patients. So let's try this chart. Or I will simply just use it so that every styling is, so in x-axis we will use the top 10 percentage flag. So it will automatically create who are top 10% and who are others. So let's say we are using top 10% flag, and in legend we are using smoker for the first time. So and in y-axis we already created count of patients or number of records. The first part, if you remember, count rows insurance. So if you will do that, so you will be able to see that here smoker, you can see most of them in top 10%, or actually every one of them belong to the smoker category. So that gives you one idea as per smoker what is happening there. I have just renamed it as top 10% flag and smokers so that you can understand what is happening there. And if we actually use a clustered bar chart or a stack bar chart, it will be easier to see and analyze, right? Here you can see that top 10%, all of them are true, that all of them are smoker true. And actually since we have to answer a lot of questions, so let's try matrix chart here. So in matrix chart, we can put, let's say, top 10% flag. You can see others and 10%, and then it is asking that what do you want to use as columns and what do you want to use as values. So as columns, let's go with BMI category. So like you can see normal, obese, overweight, underweight, this type of it can be taken. And then in values we can see number of records. So if you will see, you will be able to see that in every category, like for example in top 10%, normal is only 1, obese are 129, overweight are 4. So you will be able to see that most people fall under the obese category in case of top 10%, and in case of others also, yes, in obese there are most number of people, but underweight are also there, overweight are also there. So this is how you can see the distribution actually. And we can also check it like this, like we can create a table like top 10 percentage BMI category and number of records for each combination. And obviously it will be a lot more, but if you go with number of children, you will be able to see that total number of children that they have, how this data is there. So this way you can actually create and understand the difference. So now we have two charts here. So this is top 10% flag with BMI and number of children. And what we can do actually, we can just try to increase these values a little bit. So now you will be able to see it in a proper way. And we can try to change the text color also. And if you want, you can give some kind of alternate background like this as well. Something that belongs to the theme. And here, since it is written sum of children, like instead of this we can simply write children or something like that, so that we have more space and we can actually create a graph like this which can be easily read. One more thing, we can actually make these headers bold as well. So like we have column headers which we can make bold, and we can select a different color for them so that the table chart looks good when we'll read that. So, and now you actually have more suggestions from us, like you can use matrix table, bar chart for average age and BMI, everything you can give. What is the interpretation? Once the visual are up, you can look for trends like most top 10 patients are smokers. They often have BMI greater than 30 that fall in obese category. They tend to be older or may have more children or from a certain region. Like, so that's why you can do region wise analysis for this. You can do other type of analysis. For example, here, like obviously region is given. First of all, what I will do, I will use a ribbon chart. I'm just trying. Let's see what happens. So first of all, we put region on x-axis because there are 4 or 5 different regions. So we put the region on x-axis. Then as legend, we say top 10% flag, like in which region top 10% flag is more, in which region others are more. And let's say what are the average charges. So now you will be able to understand that doesn't matter what the region is, in every case average charges are paid mostly by top 10%, right? So this is how you can select, and top 10% flag and average charges. If you have to see number of records, you will just remove this and go with this. So you can see number of records are more in other cases, but average charges paid are more by top 10% flag people. So this is something we can see. So top 10% flag average charges by region. Now it is asking another question like how does BMI category, that is underweight, normal, relate to insurance charges? So that is something that we have already answered, that in obese category the average charges paid by these people are more. So that's why you will be able to answer it easily with the help of this chart. We can actually use another chart like a tree map also to answer this question. So like here you will be able to answer it properly. Obviously these are your choices, but I'm just going with it so that it is clear to you that in a tree map the area of this rectangle basically represents the number BMI category. So that is very important. Let's go with another question. Which regions have the highest density of high cost patients? So to calculate high cost density, We will first time, obviously we know how many number of patients do we have and how many of them belong to high cost. Like if we are considering the top 10% flag that we already created in the first part, so these people belong to those those group of people who are paying high cost. So that's why their flag will be that. So we are counting how many people are there. So calculate count rows with a filter that this top 10 flag actually equal to, I was trying something to say. So it actually equal to top 10%. So this will find out value. So first let's find out the high cost density. So high cost density is coming around 10%, you can see. And now it is asking different questions like which regions have highest density of high cost patients. So which regions have? So obviously here you can see as an answer, you can see that top 10 flag and average charges by region. So obviously to answer this question, we will keep region there and we will use some stack column chart for this, and actually we will use high cost density per region. So you can see the high cost density per region, like here it is 15%, here it is 10%. To show that density as a percentage, we will once again go to the table view, select the measure. In measure tools we will mark it as a percentage. So now that will be here, and we will just, when we'll enable data labels, you will be able to see that percentage. So now I will copy this question. Highest density of high cost patients by region. So we will change this title, highest density of high cost patients, and you have the region. Now in these regions, like regions are given on x-axis, so we can select a color and make it bold so that we can see the region names properly here. So this will answer another question. And finally, is there a clear cost risk pattern based on age, BMI, and smoking status? So because we are analyzing factors driving up cost and risk profile. So is there a clear cost risk pattern based on age, BMI, smoking status? So to answer this question, we have to go back and let's see. So this is BMI versus charges, which we created in the first part, where we actually used a scatter plot. So in this case, as a legend, if we add smoker, for example, now here you will be able to see that in case of a smoker true, you can see all charges are in the high range. Okay, and once smoke, and when a smoker is false, it is in the lower range. So this is how you can answer one question, that how BMI, insurance charges are, and smoker true is related. So this is one way to answer the question, which is there a cost risk pattern based on BMI and smoking status? So like if you are a smoker, you have to pay high charges as per the data. So this is what you can see from here. And for age also, like here you can see average charges by age group. So here also as a legend, if you will bring something like a smoker or maybe BMI category, so you will be able to answer some questions, and we can change it like this. So first of all, I will leave it here so that if someone needs, I will provide it to them. So we'll just copy average charges by age group, and if we change it to a ribbon chart, and as a legend, suppose you want to analyze smoker wise or BMI wise, however the question is asking, so we'll add the BMI category here. So now what is this meaning? So here you can see first of all underweight. So either in the age group range of 56 or 48. So these people are there, and when we created the age group in the first part, we actually use bin size as 8. So minimum value 18, so 18 to 26, then 26 to 34, and so on. So this way these age groups were created, or 16, then 24, then 32. Here it is showing as 18, but usually in data it is 16 to 24, 24 to 32, 30 to 40, and so on. So in the age group of, we can say 48, we can see uh, underweight people are there. This shows rank. So if we start from 16, rank of obese, and on the basis of charges. So charges paid by obese are higher. That is almost in every age group. But when it comes to a very high age group, 64 to 72 or something, so here you will see that charges paid by normal people are more. So this shows rank of each BMI category charges wise, like amount of charges paid by each BMI category, whether it's high or low. So for example, for normal people in age group range of 15, average charges are 5,541.20. But when it comes to age group 48, these charges are getting increased. Now in age group of 56, these charges are low, but in age group of 64, even for normal people, these charges are high. So this is how you can see these charges and their ranks. So that's how you can answer that fourth question that we have. And now I have simply organized them in such a way that yes, we can answer these questions. So this was the part 3, where we tried to understand different patterns. We tried to solve different questions. Obviously it's just a way I use to answer the questions. You can actually answer these questions in a more, or in a better way, because I have used some normal visuals here. Most of these questions can be answered with the help of regular visuals also, like, or with the help of matrix charts also. And I'm just recoloring them. So once you have answered these questions, you can share your work in the comment section also, like where have you created these visuals, and then you will be able to uh, obviously it will be easier for everyone to see your work, and will be able to comment and learn from them as well. So, or if you have any questions, you can ask them in the comment section. We'll be happy to answer. So thanks for watching this. And anyways, these different type of filters can be used to answer these questions. So, and you can see these pages. So you can click on page 1, page 2, and page 3. So you will be able to navigate using this page navigator that we used in the second part. Thanks once again. Have a nice day.